everyone, my name is Veronica, and I'm so happy to be with you today. Today we're going to be talking about conscious manifesting and how to change your inner story. Because the stories that we play in our mind are constantly shaping the world around us. Now, some of these stories may seem unchangeable, unmovable, but they really aren't. The stories that you tell about everything, the judgments you are making throughout the day, are directly related to your outcomes. It's like a mirror reflection. Your tomorrows will be based on whatever it is you are focusing on right now. This gives you the greatest power to shape your tomorrows into basically anything and to change your stories into whatever you would like, even your stories about what you think another person is thinking. Now, this is especially useful in trying to transform a love relationship into exactly what you want. Whether or not it is with a specific person, or it's a crush you're trying to manifest, or maybe you're trying to manifest an ex back or someone that rejected you. This inner story is going to be directly related to how they interact with you, to whether or not they want you, desire you. Your inner story is directly related to how everyone in your world treats you, responds to you, whether or not you get that job, whether or not you get those clients, whether or not you have luck during the day. So I'm going to share my own personal experiences, what has worked for me and what my process is like, and some other helpful hints and tips that can help you transform your mind, your feelings into the stories you actually want. Before we do that, if you don't know much about me, I am someone who has transformed my entire life through the use of the law of attraction, through conscious manifesting. If you would like to read my story or get some more information about me, veronicaisles.com is the place to go. There you will also find my one-on-one coaching, and I'm happy to take you on as a client if you would like some further help. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel too if you haven't already. Okay, so let's talk about my own personal process. So my process for changing my inner story is always mindfulness and awareness. I first have to understand what my current story is before I can change it into the story that I prefer. A lot of times we don't exactly know what our story is because the things that we are saying to ourselves are on such repeat that it almost gets blocked out. It almost feels like white noise, something that's just going on in our minds that we don't even pay attention to anymore because it's so second nature, it's so habitual that it's a story that just keeps playing on loop that we don't even recognize anymore. So the first thing to do is to truly pay attention, truly recognize what the story is that you are telling, because you need to recognize the story first before you can alter it, before you can change it, before you can admit it. So this is going to be your first step. You can choose to write this down. You can sort of just practice listening to your thoughts throughout the day. When you have a knee-jerk response, you could write that down. Maybe it's a knee-jerk response to something else in your life that doesn't seem to have to do with whatever your greatest desire is that you're trying to manifest. For example, if you are trying to manifest an improved relationship or your crush to want you, maybe you have a knee-jerk response to something else in your life that seems unrelated to love, but is actually probably completely related to it. Any sort of negative statements, negative judgments, disempowering stories that we are telling are always related to every single other outcome in our life. So always pay attention, because these dominant themes like to recycle. They like to play out in different areas of our lives and disguise themselves. So you want to be very aware, very mindful about the things that you think about life, what you think you can have, what you think about yourself, and especially what you think other people are thinking about you. Now, once you do recognize these stories and you recognize the lack and the limitations within them, it's time to recognize just how absurd and just how silly they are. This is something that I like to do. I like to almost make fun of their intent and their purpose. The lack voice, the ego voice, likes to be so outlandish and crazy that you can easily poke fun at it. You can find the humor in it because a lot of times it is just so completely absurd that why not laugh at it? Why not use this as an opportunity to make light of it? Like, what it's suggesting doesn't have to be the truth that is playing out in your life. Even if it is the current truth, the current limitations that are existing in your world, like, you can change it. It's only lack. Like, it isn't truth. Lack isn't truth. Lack is actually the lie. Abundance is the truth. So it's time to get back to our true, authentic selves. Embracing the new story is about fully letting go of the old one. So I don't actually try to implement the new story until I know that I'm really over the old one. I like to make fun of it. I like to see how silly it is, how its suggestions really aren't valid. And I like to kind of free myself from the burden of it before I even attempt to implement the new story. In terms of turning around my love life, in terms of manifesting more wealth, more abundance, a job where I could work at home. It allowed me to manifest paying off debts, paying off student loans, getting a new car. I was someone who always drove an old car, who always drove a car that was falling apart. I can gladly say that that is no longer a part of my story. And at one point in my life, it was my story, it was my truth. But I realized just how absurd that was. I mean, if other people were driving new cars, why couldn't I? So another thing I like to do is be like, well, someone else has this. Someone else possesses this right now. Someone else is experiencing this right now. So why not me? Now, this new story you tell yourself will at first feel like a lie because it'll be something brand new, something you are not currently experiencing, something that your ego voice is going to try to mock, going to try to make fun of. So just be aware that the old voice isn't going to go away without a fight, and that this is okay, this is natural, this is normal, this is something to be expected. Now, the new story that you add does not have to be based on prior experience, it doesn't have to be based on the odds or the predictions from other people. It doesn't have to be based on any substance at all. It can just be based on your pure desire and something that you want. Like this new story can come from anywhere. It can come out of thin air. It can be pretty much anything that you put your faith in. So the important thing to remember in creating this new story is that it doesn't have to come from any sort of factual experience at all. It can come from your greatest desire. It can come from exactly what you want. It doesn't even have to fit logically within the concept of someone's personality. Like it could be something completely out of the ordinary that they've never done, they've never said, they've never even suggested that they could be open to or could want. So for example, if you were trying to attract commitment from someone, maybe you're dating them and they've sort of said that they're not open to marriage or that they're not the marrying type. Like you can change this story within your mind. You can change this feeling. You can change this idea that's running on repeat. So don't base your inner story upon what you think is possible, but rather what you actually want. So we're not using our past as a basis. We're not using our current limitations as a basis. We're not using any lack as a basis. And like I said, this is what I do, and this is what I do to overcome challenges. This is what I've done to better my life. This is how I've lived my life. So it comes from personal experience. Now remember, this is a process. This is what I always tell myself whenever I'm trying to manifest something or change an inner story, is that it is a process. It could happen overnight, but usually it takes time. And to embrace the time element, don't resent it, don't put it down, don't feel bad about it, just embrace it. Now, of course, that negative voice is going to try to come up. It's going to try to take control. It's going to try to win you. But it's up to you. It's up to you. Are you going to stick to the preferred story? Or are you going to cling on to the old story? Are you ready for change? And that's something I always asked myself. Was I really ready to let go of the old identity of being a failure? Because when you're a failure, it comes with certain things that you expect. Like you complain about it, you get sad about it, you're someone that feels bad a lot of the time. And it's almost like a lazy way to be. Are you ready to change this? Are you ready to be someone new? Are you ready to be someone that has extra time on their hands because they're no longer complaining about all of these frustrations? Who do you want to be? Every person's life is a great reflection of what they believe themselves to be, of what they think they are capable of basically what the stories are that are running on repeat, whether or not they realize it or not. So start becoming really aware. Pay attention to your thoughts, your feelings, the way you identify yourself. Start posing new suggestions about what could be. Start just experimenting with new stories. Because the second you try something on, it can start to become an old habit. You can start to form a new habit by practicing. Habits don't come through one use. They come through persistent trying. They come through, well, trial and error. When you're trying to learn to ride a bicycle, like, you fall down a lot. Like, you don't get it the first time, you probably don't get it the second time. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of determination to actually want to achieve that point where you can ride that bicycle. So what do you want to do? Do you want to keep trying? Are you afraid of falling down? It's okay to fall down, as long as you pick yourself right back up. That's the important part. Are you ready to take control of your life? To be something new, to have new results? When you're ready, that new inner story will come so easy, and you won't find it troublesome at all. And new inner stories about other things in your life will start to flow too. Because when it rains, it pours. You'll get really good at this, and you'll teach others too in your life. Okay, so I hope this could help. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment below. Ask questions, help support others. I would love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I love to release new content for you every single week. And if you would like to learn more about me or study with me, veronicaisles.com and studywithveronica.com. Have a good day.